never thought I'd make this video, or never thought I'd make this kind of video. And this has been a tough one for me to make. A video where it's totally raw and unscripted and extremely minimally edited. And honestly, this is more of a confessional than it is podcast content. But as I've been thinking a lot about a lot of things and this video idea came to life, I firmly believe this is a video worth spending time and taking my time on, because I believe this is something we all need to hear. So, my content production has been incredibly slow since, well, for a while, for a good few months, since the most recent holiday season. And a lot plays into that. I was trying to produce podcast content once every 2 weeks, which is wild that I was even able to do that to begin with somewhat consistently. But as I started to learn how to craft and create new ideas and then script those ideas properly and package them properly for content, and all the processes of video editing and audio editing and all the other content I need to produce, supporting content, whatever, that was just not feasible. And so I wanted to prioritize quality over quantity or frequency. But then you have this crazy thing called fatherhood, life, being a husband, and there's a lot of challenges that come with that. For example, right now, to help produce this content, I'm on my lunch break. This is at work. This is where I work my standard 9 to 5 that pays the bills. And I work this job just because it pays the bills. And that's kind of a crazy place to be in. You never grow up dreaming of just working a job to make ends meet, or to have income to make sure bodies are fed and clothed. But here we are. And of all the challenges that I want to talk to y'all about in this video, the reason I'm doing it is not to just complain about my life, just like air my grievances or somehow make excuses for why content production has been slow, but I really believe that there's challenges that we all face and mindsets that we all face and things that we have to decide what we think about. And so hopefully this gives you an idea or some inspiration, or makes you sit and think about your own condition and your own situation, your own circumstances, and approach them differently and approach them more positively. So that's what this video is for. So this all started because of 3:30 a.m. Very, very specific time. Anywhere between 3 and 3:30 a.m. And why that is because after we had our second son, Carter, Carter Houston, he's very specific with how he sleeps, including when he wakes up. It's almost a dead set giveaway you can set your clock to, that he'll wake up within an hour to 2 hours of being put to bed, and then right between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. And so for those of y'all that haven't been around as long, or if you're new, haven't hit the like button or subscribe button yet, definitely want to do that if you enjoy the content, if it's for you, not for everybody. But you'll know my creative process starts at 4 in the morning. That's really literally the only time among all the responsibilities that I have to squeeze in content without having like short bursts. So it gives me a couple hours once I've woken up, made some coffee, to actually get in a good amount of time, like a couple hours worth of thought or production or creativity, whatever that is. And so when your day starts at 4 and you're starting to do the creative process at 4:15 or 4:30, well, if you're up at 3 to take care of a little guy who needs to be soothed and comforted and tucked back in and put back to sleep, there's not much time to go back to sleep into a deep sleep again before 4 a.m. You just kind of snooze until your alarm goes off. So your day's really starting super, super early. And if you want to do anything with your wife or whatever at home after you put them in bed, you're not getting much sleep. That's the whole point. Is I'm telling you, you're not getting much sleep. And so that's where all this started. 3:30 a.m. You add that to the challenges of again, like I said, I'm here working all day. I'm recording content on my lunch break, and it makes creating content very difficult because you have to prioritize your health and wellness and the health and wellness of your relationships and staying focused on your actual job that's paying the bills at the moment. And the challenge that then comes in is you ask yourself, is this all worth it? Is it worth it to do all this? Maybe I should stop the grind. And I wrote a cool article on my Substack about sort of that mindset. It's called the Unplanned Journey. It's a series on my Substack. You should definitely check it out. I'll put the link in the comments. But when you face those challenges of wondering whether it's worth it or not, or even if you know it's worth it and you know you're convinced and believe that you really truly have content that's worth putting out there and a light that the world needs to see, it makes that challenge even more difficult because you start dealing with this sort of rejection complex or this inferiority complex where you think like, man, it's not worth it because I can't put what I want to put into it. This sense of kind of perfectionism or this all or nothing approach that I've had that makes things very, very difficult to do because I put undue pressure and unfair expectations on myself. And so if I can't get it done to the level I want to get it done, I don't do it at all, or I spend too much time in the planning and creation phase versus the actual execution phase of making content. It's kind of like your Netflix or YouTube queue, or the multiple tabs you have open, or the hundreds of things you have in your watch later list, or your Amazon shopping cart save for later, or whatever. It's really kind of like that, but you never end up paying the bill. You never end up actually watching the content, right? It's like kind of that metaphor or that allegory. I mean, we've all been there in life. Some of y'all may be right there right now where you've got things that you've got to take care of, responsibilities, things that are important to you, priorities. But for some reason, you keep getting roadblocks. Things keep happening. Life keeps stepping in. And for the longest time, I felt like, hey, this has got to break eventually. Like, sleep will become more regulated and more normal again. But yeah, what happens when that happens, and then not everything is sunshine, not everything is clear skies and smooth sailing. Life will find a way to continue to throw roadblocks at you. That's just life. That's just the way all of this works. And so I've had to really adjust my mindset, and instead of being in survival mode and just barely tracking and barely getting things done, and then constantly hoping, oh, this will get better, this looking forward to the future, projecting like this will get better if XYZ happens, or if X stops happening, like interrupted sleep, then I'll be able to produce more content, or whatever is going on. That's the wrong mindset to have. I am a perfectionist. And so because of that, I've got this image in my head of how I want my content to look and feel. Like, I couldn't even approach this candid, kind of on camera, random conversation, unscripted, without feeling like I've got to set up a good cinema. I can't just press the record button in any random location and just like spam record and go. I've got to think through it in the process, and there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to produce high quality stuff with whatever you do. For me, it's the podcast, it's the content I create, but for you, it could be whatever you're passionate about. There's nothing wrong with wanting perfection, but perfection can be the thief of great. I can't keep waiting for perfect conditions to produce my content, because that's never going to happen. That's just not the way that life works. Especially if you're by yourself, life doesn't work that way. But then when you have responsibilities like a wife, like children, like volunteering at a local church, ministry, jobs, like whatever else, sleep. You have to sleep. You have to eat. You've got to take care of yourself. And so when you take that sort of cinephile, bibliophile, like wanting it to look and feel a certain way, my content, and wanting it to have a certain quality and a certain vibe and a certain feel, and then you add to that this sort of inherent perfectionism, what you end up having is this pitfall that we all deal with. And that's this right here. It's the all or nothing approach. And every one of us deals with it. So when you hear experts or people that are giving you advice, mentors, whoever, that say just go for it, just start somewhere, that sounds like good advice on the surface, but you know somewhere up in here that it's got to be meant just for beginners, right? Like there's no way if I have an expertise in something or a skill set that I believe I have, or a talent set or a goal or desire or passion, that I'm just gonna just go for it. That's got to be just for beginners. But really, we should actually have that mindset, that mentality as we approach absolutely everything that we do. Do something. Let the process begin before it's perfect. You can chase perfection. You can chase greatness. You can chase good quality. But don't let your desire or this mixed up mindset that the conditions have to be perfect before you can chase perfection to hold you back. You can chase perfection without waiting for the conditions for perfection to be there. You can create good. You can create greatness. You can create perfection out of imperfect circumstances and out of imperfect conditions, but just do something. Don't wait for perfect conditions to chase perfection. And that's a mindset I had to shift. That's the mindset I had to change in creating my content. But why don't you roll with me back to the studio first for this one thing, because this is how it can apply to each one of us.
See, in life, we have all these pressures. Pressures of expectations, pressures of responsibilities. We're pressed to invest in our relationships. Pressures to be good. Whatever good is in that scenario. And because of all that, we often find ourselves leaving important things undone, or having to choose one thing over another, even though both are important to us. It's this seemingly unavoidable either or cycle. But you have the abilities to do more than you think you do. And all it takes is living more intentionally instead of waking up and streaming through our lives on autopilot. And it's okay to take time for yourself and not produce, unplug, disconnect, do something mindless. I mean, for me, it's playing video games or laughing at shorts with my wife. But here's the real key. Don't stay there. See, all these things that we leave undone, they're like great books lying right in front of us. So many things can happen in the story. And as we read through the pages, so many things will happen. All it takes for us to begin is to open the book. And maybe, right now, we only have the strength or the skill set or the resources to just read the title page. But when you're staring at something you believe in, forget the facts, forget the challenges, and just begin.
Buddy, go. Oh my gosh, go, run. Here we go.